Just be yourself. Don't get stressed over such exams. You'll be able to crack it one day, and take good care of your health, because health comes first. And yeah, that is it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chamomile Tea with Toppers, an initiative by Unacademy, and I'm your host Rishabh. Today we have with us on the show Bhawana Chandel, who has recently cleared the SBI PO exam, and she's here with us to talk to us about how she was able to do it. So let's speak to her. Hi Bhavana, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. First of all, heartiest congratulations on this achievement.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, how does it feel to finally have the tag of SBI PO attached to your name?
Sir, obviously it feels very good to finally have a job and be financially stable. And yeah, SBI though is a brand name in itself, so it feels very good.
That's awesome. So take us through that moment, when you finally received your result after months of preparation and toil and hard work. How was it like? What was that moment like?
We were waiting eagerly for the result from 1st of March, but then SBI has another plan in its mind. So the result came on 15th of March, and I was just sitting and having a cup of tea at night, 8 p.m. I guess. Then my friend messaged me कि तूने result देखा क्या? And I just got scared, and I was like, मेरे को देखना ही नहीं है result, मुझे नहीं देखना, मैं नहीं देख पाऊंगी. So we were waiting for the result for a very long time. We were waiting from 1st of March. And then the result came on 15th of March, and I was just sitting and just having a cup of tea. And then my friend messaged me कि तूने result देखा क्या? SBI result is out. And I got scared कि मुझे नहीं देखना है. I don't have the guts to see the result and everything. And I got very scared. I was just shivering. Then my sister was sitting right beside me, and she said कि you have given the exam, you have to watch it by yourself. I'm not gonna look at your result. Then I opened the PDF, and then I entered my roll number, and it showed result 1-on-1, which means that my roll number is in that PDF. And I just burst into tears, and I got it was happy, it was sad, it was mixed emotions, and I got very happy obviously, but then I cried and cried and cried. Then my mother came, उन्होंने चुप कराया, और obviously सब लोग खुश हो गए कि चलो finally कोई तो एग्जाम निकला.
I'm sure that would have been a wonderful moment. तो मुझे अभी ये बताइए कि how does life change, after becoming an SBI PO? What happens?
So I guess I have now become very lazy after the result. I was very active before the result. Now I don't feel like studying anymore. I don't read newspapers at all. And moreover, it has also changed in a positive way, because it has instilled a lot of confidence in me now. And obviously there is a sense of financial stability in my mind, and I can explore life more freely now.
Yeah, that's great. So before we get into the rest of the interview, I'd like you to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, and take us through your background and where you studied from, and a little bit about your family as well.
Okay, so I am Bhavana. I am born and brought up in Delhi only. I did my graduation from DU BCom, and then I did my MCom also from DU, and I finished my masters in 2021, and that is it.
Okay, great. And what got you exposed to the world of banking? What made you decide that this is something I want to take up?
I was still exploring in my college life that what do I have to do? So I was very active in NCC. I did 2 national camps, 1 international camp, and I was inclined towards defense, but then my health did not supported me. So my father used to say कि government job की तैयारी करते रहो. So he always pushes us to fill SSC exams and everything, but I never took SSC very seriously because I was not that much into it. But then after the lockdown, after 2020, the IBPS has extended its registration for people who has not registered it once. Then I refilled the exam for IBPS PO, and I gave the exam. I came back home. I was not expecting to clear it, but then the result came, and it showed that I cleared the pre-exams, and there were just 10 days left for the mains. So I studied and studied. I used to give 2 mocks in a day for those 10 days. And then I missed clearing mains by 2 marks. Then I thought कि I should take this seriously. If I am not studying and still able to get this close to the cutoff, so I have to take it seriously. Then I started preparing for it. So I used to Google what is the syllabus of banking, and then I read each and every topic. Then the next year, 2021, I filled every bank exams except RRB PO. RRB Clerk के अलावा सारे दे दिए थे. सारे एग्जाम फिल किए. That's how I got exposed to banking.
Right. And what would you say you learned from these particular exams after writing the first attempt at these exams? Like, did you pick up anything specifically that helped you in your preparation?
I think practice is the key. If you the more and more you practice, be it reasoning, be it quant, be it English, and be it GA, the more and more you practice, the more becomes the chance of clearing it. Because you've been through thousands of questions of such types, and always putting yourself into under such pressure of giving mock tests prepares you for performing good in the exam.
Right, absolutely. And one really needs to get started to get to where you are today. So tell me about that start. When did you realize that this is something that I really want to do? And now that you got into this preparation mode, how did you start your study schedule?
I am not a morning person, but I'm not a night owl either. So I used to wake up at 7, then do anything what I wanted to do. I am not a person who studied for 8-10 hours. I studied for, I don't know, maybe 6 hours a day or maybe less than that. But I made sure that whatever I'm doing in those six hours, I made it count in my preparation, and I cut off from all the distractions. I did not use WhatsApp, I did not use Instagram, I just used Telegram just for information, because I was doing masters at that time. So there were online exams were happening, so that's why. And then I think the major thing is to cut off distractions, and then not only cutting distractions, if you're cutting off distractions, then put that amount of time into something productive, which for me it was giving mocks and practicing questions from books, or from special classes of Unacademy, or from special classes of teachers on YouTube. I just do practice and practice and practice.
Right. And speaking about the subjects itself, right? The three, English, reasoning, and quant. How did you divide your time between these three? Did you have a particular weak point, or how did you go about preparing?
My weak point was obviously quant. It was a nightmare. I did not know how to do DIs. Arithmetic was also very weak. So I pick up one topic of arithmetic, then solve it the whole day, and then solve its questions. Then I prepared for mocks, and then I saw कि it's improving day by day, क्योंकि मैं एक टॉपिक करते हुए खत्म करते जा रही थी कि एक टॉपिक उठाया, सारे क्वेश्चंस किए, खत्म किया उसको, नेक्स्ट टॉपिक उठाया एंड देन खत्म किया खुद ही सेल्फ स्टडी से ही, या फिर कोई भी बैंकिंग के एग्जाम की तरह लेना हो अगर आपको आइडिया चाहिए तो यूट्यूब पे जाके भी मिल सकता है सब कुछ, तो वहाँ से उठाया, फिर मैंने क्वांट पढ़ा. दैट वाज माई वीक पॉइंट. तो आई यूज्ड टू गिव अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू क्वांट. I used to wake up in the morning and do the checklist by Ashish Arora sir, and then I found English a little boring, but my English is pretty good. I used to perform pretty well, so I did not put much attention to it. But I did not want my strength to become my weakness, इसलिए मैंने उसको छोड़ा भी नहीं, और लेकिन उस पर इतना ज़्यादा ध्यान भी नहीं दिया. तो I just had to do 2 subjects, reasoning and quant. That's what I always did. And English तो I only used to attempt mocks and then see अगर कुछ गलती हुई है तो उसको देखो कि कहाँ किस पॉइंट में गलती कर दिया है, तो उसके बारे में पढ़ लेती थी बस. इंग्लिश के लिए मैंने इसके अलावा कुछ भी नहीं किया. रीजनिंग की आई यूज्ड टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ पजल्स. जितनी पजल्स कर लो रीजनिंग में उतनी कम होती हैं. तो आई यूज्ड टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ पजल्स बाय टाइमर की ये कौन सी 4 मिनट में हो गई, या कोई भी रिकॉर्डेड क्लास को 2x पे करके देखो और साथ सॉल्व करो, तो समझ में आता है कि आप कहाँ स्टैंड करते हो सब में.
Right. And what about as an aspirant, बहुत सारे aspirants अपने अलग challenges face करते हैं, right? And you tend to feel demotivated because it's such a long process, and of course you have to give 2 big exams followed by an interview. So how do you keep yourself motivated during this journey?
I think to keep myself motivated, first of all you have to believe in yourself, that you have to believe that you can do it and you will do it someday, and have confidence कि एक ना एक दिन आप कर लोगे. और इसके अलावा नॉट ओनली थिंकिंग कि हमें पढ़ना है प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन के अलावा आपको करना भी पड़ेगा कि आप खोल के बैठो, लेके बैठो. तो दैट वाज अ बिट ऑफ चैलेंज विद मी बिकॉज आई फेल्ड अ लॉट ऑफ मेंस. तो आई आफ्टर फेलिंग अ मेंस आई फेल्ट वेरी डिमोटिवेटेड कि अब तो नहीं हो रहा है, मेंस नहीं निकल रहा. तो आई थिंक आई हैव चोजन द रॉन्ग लाइन. आई शुड जस्ट ऑप्ट आउट ऑफ इट, बट देन इट हैपेंड विद SBI PO that I cleared mains.
Wonderful. So you're an example of someone who has not given up. So which attempt was this of yours for the SBI?
For SBI PO, it was my first attempt.
It was your first attempt. Okay. And what about the number of mocks that you gave, right? Because you were mentioning some time back that you were giving mocks, but is there a specific number that aspirants should target?
I did not give. I don't have any specific number for that, and I didn't buy a lot of companies' mocks. I just bought one company's mock, and I used to repetitively give it. I used to analyze it more कि कहाँ गलती हुई है, क्यों गलती हुई है, उसको सॉल्व करती थी, वो वाला टॉपिक पढ़ लेती थी. बट ऐसे नहीं कि बस मॉक्स उठाए और देते चले गए, एनालाइज नहीं किया. अगर आप एनालाइज ही नहीं करेंगे तो फिर आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि आप कहाँ पे लैग कर रहे हैं, क्या आपकी स्ट्रेंथ है, क्या आपकी वीकनेस है. तो I did not give a lot of mocks, but all the mocks I gave it for a good 2-3 times.
Right,
the same
right.
mock.
All right. And what about, during this journey of yours, आपकी inspiration कौन रही है? What has kept you going? Someone who's been there with you through thick and thin, your friends, your family?
Sir, all of my friends are preparing for banking exams only. So I have a friend from masters also. She always used to call me up and say कि कहाँ क्या पढ़ रही है, कितना रह गया है. We used to discuss each other's strategy. And one of my friend is also RRB PO already. So she also used to motivate me a lot. And other friends were also been there and motivated me कि हो जाएगा, अब तेरे से इतना पास में है तो छोड़ मत, अभी मेंस तक तो आई गई है, इसके आगे भी क्लियर हो जाएगा. So that's what that helped.
Right. And speaking of your branch, have you been allotted a branch yet?
I've been allotted Delhi Circle, but not the branch right now.
Okay. So when would you start working there now?
So most probably 18th of April.
18th of April, all right. So I'm sure you must be very excited.
Yes, I am.
Now let's get into your individual subject strategy, right? Of course, now for the prelims, let's talk about English first. So a lot of aspirants come from a Hindi medium background, right? So they face certain challenges when it comes to preparing. So what would you suggest to them to get a head start and do better in English?
So I would suggest that whoever is facing difficulty in English should start reading it first. The more and more we read it, the more and more we start to realize कि कहाँ ग्रामर की मिस्टेक है, कहाँ नहीं है. आपको उस सेंटेंस को पढ़ के आपको एक अंदाज़ा हो जाएगा कि कैसे सही हो रहा है, कैसे गलत हो रहा है. क्योंकि it's very difficult to remember all of the grammar rules because there are a lot of them. So but when you read it ना, you feel it in your heart कि कहाँ गलती है सेंटेंस में. तो that's what helped me. I don't know all of grammars, all of the English grammar. I don't know the English terms, but I know कि सेंटेंस में गलती क्या है. तो आपको उस चीज़ को टारगेट करना है कि क्वेश्चन पेपर आपसे क्या पूछ रहा है इंग्लिश में. इंग्लिश में आपका एरर डिटेक्शन आता है तो आप उस हिसाब से देख लो. आरसी जैसे डिफिकल्ट होती है तो आप आरसी की अलग से प्रैक्टिस कर लो. तो यू जस्ट हैव टू फोकस ऑन व्हाट द एग्जामिनर वांट्स टू गेट फ्रॉम यू in the answer. Yeah, that is
right. So that's for English. What about for quants? Because you mentioned that DI was a little difficult for you. So how were you able to convert this weakness into a strength?
So I still cannot say that quant has turned into my strength. I'm still very weak in quants. But then I practiced it and I studied quant in such a way that मैं sectional निकाल लूँ. मुझे उसमें एक्सपर्ट बनने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. एक्सपर्ट बनने के लिए बाकी सब्जेक्ट भी हैं, क्योंकि अगर जो सब्जेक्ट ऑलरेडी इतना वीक है उसमें एक्सपर्ट बनने के लिए टाइम दिया तो बाकी सब्जेक्ट के लिए टाइम बिल्कुल नहीं बचेगा. तो मैंने बस उतना पढ़ा जिससे मैं सेक्शनल निकाल पाऊंगी. सबकी स्कोर मैं किसी और सब्जेक्ट में कर लूँगी. जैसे स्कोरिंग के लिए मैं रीजनिंग और इंग्लिश में ज़्यादा अटेम्प्ट करके आ जाऊँगी. बट क्वांट में मैंने सिर्फ उतना ही देखा जितना सेक्शनल निकल सकता है. तो उसके लिए आप प्री के लिए तो बेसिकली आपको वो सीरीज़ रॉन्ग नंबर सीरीज़ कर लीजिए, और जो सबको पता होते हैं कौन कौन से टॉपिक्स हैं, जो आपको 15-20 क्वेश्चंस आपके ऑलरेडी हो जाएंगे. तो उतना ही बहुत है. बाकी आप अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे फोकस कर लो. तो आई वुड नॉट से कि यू शुड रन आफ्टर क्वांट और रन आफ्टर एनी पर्टिकुलर DI कि हमें यही सॉल्व करना है. फोकस ऑन योर स्ट्रेंथ, बट डोंट लेट फोकस ऑन योर स्ट्रेंथ ऑल्सो, एंड डोंट गो आफ्टर योर वीकनेसेस. You'll get selected even if you do average in your weaknesses.
Right. And any sources that you would like to recommend for the aspirants who want to prepare for quants, like any books that they can follow, any online portal that you would recommend?
So I used to watch Unacademy special classes. I also used to watch YouTube channels of various teachers who are on Unacademy also. And for book, I followed CAT books. I followed the book of Arun Sharma sir for CAT. So that is what helped me.
All right, great. And what about reasoning? Because in this, the major challenge that aspirants face is, of course, the puzzles. So is there any shortcut or any method that you'd like to suggest to them that would help them?
There is no shortcut to solve any puzzle. You just have to write all the possibility. You just have to write all the conditions and eliminate the possibility as soon as possible. जैसे जैसे आपको समझ आता जाए कि possibility कौन सी cancel out हो रही है, बिना draw किए उतना ही सोच लो. एंड ये सिर्फ तभी आएगा जब आप प्रैक्टिस करते रहो रीजनिंग की, पजल्स की. तो द मोर यू प्रैक्टिस ना, उतने में आपको समझ आ जाता है कि वो आगे चल के ये वाली पॉसिबिलिटी कैंसिल हो जाएगी. तो उसमें जो आप सेकंड्स बचा लेते हो, उतने सेकंड इकट्ठे हो के आप और क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो. तो रीजनिंग में पजल्स तो रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. तो आई यूज्ड टू वॉच पजल सीरीज ऑफ अंकुश लांबा सर. it helped me a lot because there are ample number of questions that you can attempt, or you can see where do you stand. That's why that is what I did.
Right. And any source that you'd like to recommend for reasoning that is going to help aspirants?
So I did not follow any book for that. I just followed the YouTube channels of various teachers and just special classes. That is it.
Okay. तो हमने आपके प्रीलिम्स के बारे में अभी डिस्कस कर लिया और वो क्लियर हो गए. आफ्टर दिस ऑफ कोर्स वाज द मेन चैलेंज जो मेंस एग्जाम आते हैं. तो अभी उसके लिए आपने प्रिपरेशन कब स्टार्ट की? वाज इट दैट यू वर प्रिपेयरिंग साइड बाय साइड विद योर प्रीलिम्स?
Yeah, I was when I decided in my mind that I have to go for bank exam, I started preparing for pre and mains simultaneously. That is why I used to read the topics in depth, because I knew I have to do it in pre. That will I do even if I study from the surface, but even if I didn't go to the depth of it, I will not be able to clear the mains. So, but the problem is I always used to get behind in mains due to my GA. I never used to clear it sectional, but then so I focused on GA, and so then that's when I realized that every subject is equally important, and the leniency towards any subject can lead to not getting selected in any phase. So I started studying GA also, and I cut off a little time from reasoning, quant and English. That is why still I didn't get sectional cutoff. My sectional cutoff in IBPS PO IBPS PO mains was also not done for general awareness, but then I did quite well in SBI PO still.
Right. And speaking of GA itself, right, because you mentioned that it's really important, how much back do you think an aspirant should start studying GA? Should it be 6 months prior to the exam?
So in an ideal situation, it should be in 6 months prior to the exam, but for me personally, it was not possible to study because it's very boring. I find it very boring that I have to study everything every day, and then I not be able to recall anything, because it's a lot of statistics, a lot of confusing names and similar ministries and etc., which makes it very difficult to learn a lot of things. So what I did was, you don't have to learn a lot of things. You just take up one source, any monthly magazine or any monthly video, and then revise it repetitively. So you don't have to study from 5-6 sources. You have to take one source and study it 5-6 times. That is what I did. I did not do 6 months current affairs. I did only 3 months current affairs.
Right.
November, December, and a month prior to November. That is it.
But
October,
would
November,
you still
December.
recommend
I would still recommend in an ideal situation a candidate should do it, because it will because GA made a lot of problems for me. I used to clear overall cutoffs of both RRB PO mains and IBPS PO mains, but I didn't get through it because of GA. So we should never take it easily and never take it lightly. We should always try to go for 6 months GA only.
Right. And any newspaper that you would recommend, like the Hindu or something like that people can refer to?
So I don't think there is anything in the newspaper. You just have to study any article. You can study reading comprehension. You can study from the Times of India. You just have to read one article each day. That is it. The newspaper would not make anything different, because the grammar in every newspaper is correct, no? Or Hindu newspaper, I find it quite difficult. It's a level up. So students should also study the Times of India, and then once you get the hang of it, you can always go for Hindu.
Right, absolutely. And what about the descriptive section of the mains paper? Because that has your essay writing and your letter writing. How do you prepare for that?
So from as soon as I knew that I have to prepare for mains, 10 days prior to mains, I started practicing. I Google searched any topic, topic for descriptive means for PO exams. Then any topic would come up. I give myself 30 minutes, and then I used to write letter and essay on it, because I knew I had to appear in the exam, even if I didn't know what the content is. So I used to write on my own the technological aspects of it, the economical, historical, whatever I knew, I used to write it. I used to read it again, and then I find out my mistakes कि मैंने कहाँ grammar में mistake की, कहाँ मैंने किसी content में कुछ अलग mistake करी. Because I think there is no need of writing many statistical facts in the essay or letter. You just have to be grammatically correct. So that is what I did. I just practiced 10 days prior to the exam. I just practiced one mock of, I would not say a mock, I just practiced writing descriptive in 30 minutes. That is it.
Right. And specifically to do with the mains, आपको कहीं पे कुछ challenges दिख रही थी with terms of the syllabus? कुछ टॉपिक्स आपको डिफिकल्ट लग रहे थे, एनीथिंग दैट यू फाउंड डिफिकल्ट एंड हाउ यू ओवरकेम दैट?
So yes, it's very difficult to do all of the topics that come in mains. So what I did was I was not able to solve all the DIs, but you have to find one DI and do it and give it more time and then do it. So I did not aim for doing all the questions. I just aimed for what I knew. I did it and then I tried to do what I think I might do. जैसे I think कि मैं arithmetic का time of work कर सकती हूँ, बाकी arithmetic मुझसे नहीं होगा. तो first I used to do whatever I knew in the exam. Then I pick up the topics. Then I think I might get solved if I give it time, and that is it. I do not go for solving each and every question that comes my way.
Right. Of course, systematically planning it is also very important.
Selective selection of questions.
Yes. And speaking of the time frame now let's say I am 30 days away from the examination. What do you think should be my strategy now? I'm 30 days away. Do you think my revision should be complete by now? What should my situation be at the moment?
So 30 days prior to the exam, one should obviously completed the whole of the syllabus, and now onwards you don't have to study anything new. Whatever you have studied, you have to revise that and do as much times as you can revise as possible. Give more attention to GA. Give more attention to English, because we often leave these subjects, but then these are the subjects which make a lot of difference, because there are students who are not in the final merit list by 0.5 marks. So that's why we have to get the edge in subjects which others are not focusing. So we have to in the last 30-20 days, you just don't have to study anything new. You just take out old mocks, try to solve them, then give more attention to English and GA. That is it.
Right. And what about 1 week prior to the exam?
1 week prior to the exam, we just have to give one mock in 2 days and then analyze it and do descriptive practice every day. Read one article and that is it. We do not have to put a lot of load on ourselves in 1 week. Make sure that your health is fine in these exams, because if you fall ill, you will obviously perform not up to the mark.
And आपकी mental state कैसी थी 1 night prior to the exam? What space were you in? Were you nervous? Were you excited? What was happening that day?
So I was obviously nervous, but I used to think my brother and sister used to tell me that take it as a process, that you have to give pre, you have to give mains, you have to give interview. That's the process. That's how you get a job. You don't have to make it a हवा कि अभी तो भाई मेरा mains है, अभी मेरा pre है. You just have to take it as a simple step of getting a job. So I would say कि you should obviously not take it lightly also. You should take it seriously, but not make it over exaggerated over कि oh my god, tomorrow is my exam. You should just have ample amount of sleep and healthy food. That is it.
Right, absolutely. And finally जब आप एग्जाम सेंटर पहुंचे and आपके सामने वो पेपर था, तो तब आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा था? Because now you finally saw all the questions in front of you. How did you think you were going to divide and solve that paper?
I made up my mind before the mains that I do not have to take it as a whole question paper. I have to take it as sectional question paper, because if I screw up reasoning, I'll screw up quant also if I take it to quant. So what I have to do is I have to solve reasoning separately, I have to solve quant separately, English separately and GA separately. So I will not carry the whatever I did, whatever I didn't do, whatever I couldn't do into the next section. So that helped me a lot, because I got a panic attack in IBPS PO mains, because up till the time I reached quant, I knew that my paper is going downhill, that I did not do good in reasoning. What will I do now? But then I gave myself a break of 1 minute. I took a deep breath, I drank some water, I focused my mind ki one question at a time. We don't have to see the whole paper and उसको अपना जीवन जीने मरने का सवाल नहीं बनाना है कि अब नौकरी नहीं लगेगी या लगेगी. You just have to take up a question. Solve हो रहा है ठीक है, नहीं हो रहा है तो आगे बढ़ना है, बस इतना सा देखना है. मतलब don't take it as कि ओह ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं होगा तो मेरे अटेम्प्ट कम रह जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो द मोमेंट आपके मन में वो फियर बैठ गया, फिर आपकी परफॉर्मेंस तो डाउनहिल जानी ही जानी है. आपको कॉन्फिडेंट रहना और अपनी मेंटल वो स्टेबल रखना है कि नहीं, कुछ नहीं बिगड़ा है अभी भी मैं अगर सारा क्वेश्चन अभी भी मैं सैनिटी से कर लूँ तो अभी भी मेरा हो जाएगा, और फिर करते रहना. जस्ट हैव फेथ इन योरसेल्फ.
Right, absolutely. And अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि of course you've now given both these exam prelims में आपने clear भी किया है, आपके mind में कहीं पे ऐसा है कि maybe I could have done this better, maybe I could have done something better, anything that you know, because people reflect after the exam and think that maybe I should have done this better. Do you think in your case you missed out on something, any aspect?
Yes, so the only thing I think that I could have done better is GA. I did not study GA as much as I should have studied it. But that's the main reason why I didn't get to clear other mains exams. So one should always focus on GA. That's what I think I should have done better.
Right. And specifically to do with aspirants who are preparing right now, what do you think are some of the mistakes that they should avoid in order to clear this exam?
So I think students, aspirants like me always go for advices of various people that they open up YouTube, कोई कुछ कह रहा है उसकी बात सुन ली, फिर कोई कुछ कह रहा है उसकी बात सुन ली, फिर घर गए फ़ोन किया दोस्त को उसकी बात सुन ली, फिर किसी दोस्त ने बोल दिया नहीं ये तो बेकार एग्जाम है उसकी बात सुन ली. तो इतनी सारी बातें सुन के प्री कंसीव्ड नोशन बना देता है हर कोई अपने माइंड में कि ये एग्जाम तो ऐसे सॉल्व होगा, ये एग्जाम ऐसे सॉल्व होगा. बट आई थिंक ये मिस्टेक सबको अवॉइड करनी चाहिए. पहले खुद एग्जाम प्रीवियस ईयर्स देखो, तुम्हें कितना हो पा रहा है तुमसे उतना देखो. तुम थोड़ा किसी टीचर, जैसे हम कोई सजेशन मांगता है हम कौन से टीचर को फॉलो करें, बट द थिंग इज द टीचर हु वर्कड फॉर मी, कि किसी के समझाने का तरीका मेरे लिए वर्क कर गया बट इट माइट नॉट वर्क फॉर यू. तो यू शुड ऑलवेज एक्सप्लोर ऑल द टीचर्स, ऑल द सोर्सेज, द मॉक्स बाय योरसेल्फ. यू हैव टू, देयर इज नो थंब रूल कि ऐसे करोगे तो सब भाई आपका पेपर निकल जाएगा. यू हैव टू फॉर्मुलेट योर ओन वे ऑफ क्लियरिंग एन एग्जाम. यू हैव टू एक्सप्लोर योर ओन सेल्फ कि आप कितने घंटे पढ़ सकते हो, किस टीचर का आपको समझ में आ रहा है, कौन सा मॉक कितना घंटे पढ़ के कितना रूटीन फॉलो करके आपका एग्जाम निकल रहा है. तो आई थिंक ये मिस्टेक सबको अवॉइड करनी चाहिए कि वी ऑलवेज सीक एडवाइसेस, बट एडवाइसेस लो दैट्स फाइन, बट देयर इज नो हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल कि आप वैसे ही सॉल्व करोगे तो ही आपका पेपर निकलेगा. यू शुड ऑलवेज इम्प्लीमेंट इट एंड देन सी कि व्हाट विल वर्क फॉर यू.
राइट एब्सोल्युटली. एंड तो अभी हमने आपके प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के बारे में डिस्कस कर लिया. अभी ऑफ कोर्स एक और स्टेज जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है इज द इंटरव्यू स्टेज. So tell me how you went about preparing for the interview. Did you sit with your friends, family? Did you watch videos on YouTube?
So as soon as I knew that I have to prepare, I have to appear for the interview. First of all, I got very shocked that I cleared SBI PO mains, which is the most difficult exam that considered to be. And then one day I was very happy. Then from the next day I was very nervous about my interview.
Right.
So I watched mock interview experiences of various students on the YouTube. So then I realized what I figured out from it is that the key to clearing any interview is confidence. Obviously knowledge is also there, but it will come secondary, I guess. You have to, if you become underconfident and तो उनको पहले से ही लगेगा कि आपको तो आता नहीं है, आपको पीओ की जॉब लेनी है, तो आप अब जब कॉन्फिडेंट ही नहीं हो तो आंसर आपको चाहे आता हो चाहे ना आता हो, फिर
तो
आप कैसे डील करोगे सिचुएशन में, किसी जॉब में. आपको बेसिकली किसी जॉब के लिए ही शॉर्टलिस्ट करना चाहते हैं, तो दे ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट क्वालिटीज ऑफ यू थ्रू द इंटरव्यू. तो आपको द मोमेंट यू एंटर द रूम यू शुड बी कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ कि मैं तो कोई भी सिचुएशन आएगी, जॉब में आए चाहे लाइफ में आए, आई विल डील विद इट. So that's what I did. My interviewers asked a lot of questions from commerce from me. I did BCom and MCom that too back to back. So I knew that these are the questions that I'll come across. But then I was pretty confident about them because they did not ask any rocket science about commerce. क्योंकि उन्होंने मास्टर्स का कुछ नहीं पूछा, ग्रेजुएशन का कुछ नहीं पूछा, उन्होंने बेसिक कॉमर्स के क्वेश्चन पूछे कि करंट लायबिलिटीज़ क्या होता है, करंट एसेट क्या होता है, अनशेड्यूल्ड बैंक कौन से हैं, शेड्यूल्ड बैंक कौन से हैं, बस बहुत नॉर्मल बेसिक कॉमर्स क्वेश्चंस. तो इफ़ यू आंसर देम कॉन्फिडेंटली देन यू विल come out from the interview with flying colors. And then you also have to be polite towards the interviewers. That when I exited the interview room, I greeted them that have a nice day, ma'am. It was very nice to interact with you all. So that's when my chairman was a lady. That's when the ma'am said to me, have a nice day too, Bhavna. That's what I think worked for me, कि उनको लगा कि the child is confident enough to answer all of our questions and then greet us with such confidence, and that's why I guess this is the main reason I got 44 on 50 in the interview.
Great. And you just gave us a slight glimpse of some of the questions that you were asked, but do you remember at least 3-4 more questions that you were asked?
Yeah, I remember all of them.
Oh really?
I entered the room and they asked I had I included a lot of certificates of my extracurricular, which was mostly NCC. I was president. I also got youth exchange program of Kyrgyzstan and Bhutan. I was also awarded some principal honor roll and everything. So I attached those certificates. So the first question that the ma'am asked me, why didn't you choose defense? So I obviously had to reply to that. Then the other question was, what you are doing right now? So I answered them that I just finished my masters. I finished my master in 2021 and then I started preparing this. And then they asked a lot of questions about commerce, current liability, current asset. Where will subsidiary company's account come in the balance sheet? Where will investment go? How is goodwill valuated? How will we acquire another company by looking into its goodwill? What is and they also asked me what was the news about SBI in yesterday's newspaper. I did not know that. So I tried to. So I politely said to him that I exactly didn't know, but I think it's about the profits of the quarter. So sir said कि ये तो पुरानी news हो गई है, कल की बताओ. So I just said कि sir I do not know. तो उन्होंने बोला ठीक है okay. Then they asked about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and that is it.
Right. And like just picking up from where you left off, you mentioned that they asked you about where some item comes in the balance sheet, right? So now what if there is a situation where I do not know that answer? Do you think I should try and attempt it, or do you think I should just be polite and say that I do not know this answer?
So I think if you have a little idea about it, if you're 50-50, that if you think it may come in the asset side or it may come in the liability side, if you're 50-50, you should just politely ask them, sir, I don't know exactly, but I would like to make a guess. So then you can go for it.
Right.
But if you are not even sure, you are making एक तुक्का नहीं मारना है बिल्कुल भी वहाँ पे, क्योंकि अगर आपने तुक्का मारा तो फिर वो और questions आपसे पूछेंगे. तो just politely say them, sir, I cannot recall at the moment. Yes, sir, I don't know about this, but I'll read about it. So that's what I think aspirants should do.
Right. And any mistakes that you think are committed very often during interviews that aspirants should avoid?
So I guess maybe people over picture themselves कि हम ये भी कर लेते हैं वो भी कर लेते हैं, और फिर वो जब इंटरव्यूअर पूछने लग जाता है तो वो नहीं पूछने लग जाते हैं तो वो नहीं इतना बता पाते. तो मुझे लगता है कि कभी खुद को ओवर इमेज नहीं पेश करनी है. आप जैसे हो, बी योरसेल्फ, जैसे हो वैसे जाओ उनके आगे. और नॉर्मली जैसे आप जैसे किसी से इंटरैक्ट कर रहे हो ना, कुछ झूठ बोलने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, कुछ तुक्के मारने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. वो जैसे पूछे आप वैसे आंसर दे दो. नहीं आता तो बोल दो कि नहीं पता, या जो भी है. बस बी योरसेल्फ. और वहाँ पे झूठ बोलने की तो बिल्कुल ट्राई मत करो कि उनको सुनने में क्या अच्छा लगेगा, बिकॉज दे आर एट दैट प्लेस कि उनको सुनते ही पकड़ में आ जाते हैं कि क्या झूठ है क्या सच है. वो उतने ऑब्वियसली उनकी तो क्वालिफिकेशन ही अलग है. तो हमेशा हमें बस बी योरसेल्फ और दैट इज इट द ओनली थिंग aspirants should do.
Great. And there's something I wanted to ask you before, but I'll ask you now. What about your note making strategy, right? Because of course a lot of aspirants have tendency to make notes. So how were you doing that specifically?
So I used to make notes on various topics. If I found a short trick of something, then I'll write it down somewhere. And for GA, I used to make if there is a news about budget, I'll write budget and then I'll write its news. If there is news about something else, I'll leave some pages. Then I'll write for that. तो एक तरह की खबर एक साथ ही रहेंगी, चाहे कितने ही टाइम की हो जाए. तो एक हेड के अंदर एक अलग अलग दिन की खबरें भी एक ही हेड के अंदर होनी चाहिए. तो फिर क्योंकि अगर वो मिक्सअप हुए तो फिर याद ही नहीं रहेगा. कब एक खबर बजट की, एक फाइनेंस की, किसी और चीज़ की, तो याद नहीं होगा. तो एक साथ अवार्ड्स लिखने हैं, एक साथ एक कोई पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक अलग से लिखना है, सारे टॉपिक्स अलग अलग रखने हैं, क्योंकि मिक्सअप करेंगे तो याद नहीं हो पाएगा कुछ भी. That's how I'm used to make notes.
All right, Bhavana. Great. So we have discussed everything right from your start from your preparation to finally your mains examination and then the interview. तो ये थोड़ी serious बातें हो गई. अभी let's get into a fun segment on CTwT जिसको हम कहते हैं the rapid fire round. तो यहाँ पर मैं आपसे कुछ सवाल करूँगा और आपको उसके जल्दी जवाब देने हैं. All right? So let's start. Your first question is, if there was an autobiography written about you, what would the title be?
So I've never thought about it. I don't know what will about be. It might be still figuring out life.
Okay, great. That's a great answer. If you had the opportunity to be cast in any Bollywood movie and play any character of your choice, which one would that be and why?
Any Bollywood movie. I would like to go into ZNMD, and any character, the only reason is that I'll get to travel a lot, and then I'll get paid for it. So that's what I think.
My personal favorite movie as well. Okay, so tell me about a song that describes your life. Any song title that describes your life.
I don't think there is any such song.
No?
No.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to shift to any country in the world, any city, any country in the world, why would you want to stay there and what's the reason? Which country would it be?
So I think I might go to Finland because वहाँ से नॉर्दर्न लाइट्स दिखती हैं और वो बहुत सुंदर है. तो I think but वहाँ पे रहना भी मुश्किल है, तो pros and cons तो सबके हैं, but I think अगर कहीं शिफ्ट करना चाहूँगी except from India तो वो वहीं होगा.
Oh, fantastic. And if you were given the opportunity to live someone else's life for one day, you could just put yourself in someone else's shoes and live their life for one day, who would that be? Any celebrity, any influential figure?
Sir, I think it might be Taylor Swift because I'm a huge fan of her.
Okay.
So I would like to experience कि कैसे वो एक song में storytelling इतने अच्छे से inculcate कर पाते हैं. So that's what I'll like to be.
Great, fantastic. And your last question is, who is someone that really inspires you and why?
So there are a lot of people that inspire me. For example, Priyanka Chopra, Ahilya Bai Holkar, a lot of people that inspire me. Obviously because of their personality and the amount of impact they can create, and the way they use their voice to change other people's life.
Right.
That is what I think.
Okay, fantastic. So great, Bhavna. Those are some great answers there. Now I'd just like to ask you, what are your plans for the next 5 to 10 years? Have you thought about your future and what you want to do next?
So I guess I'm just 22, so I cannot think of what will I be or what will I be doing in 5 years from now, because I couldn't think that I'll be an SBI PO 5 years before. So that is why I think I'm still exploring life and I'll just see where it takes me. That is it.
Great. And we have this ritual here on CTwT which we call Tag a Topper, in which you can recommend someone's name, any friend or anyone that you know who has also topped this particular exam, and we can call them on the episode and even take their interview.
So my friend Neha, she's RRB PO from 2020.
Neha what? What's her full name?
Neha Chatoria.
Okay. So Neha Chatoria, our team will get in touch with you and hopefully we can see you here as well and understand your journey and how you succeeded in this exam as well. Alright, so now, we're almost at the end. I'd like you to give one motivational message to all the aspirants who are busy preparing right now, who are toiling away day and night. They would definitely like to hear from you, and any message that you'd like to give them.
Just be yourself, don't get stressed over such exams. You'll be able to crack it one day, and take good care of your health, because health comes first. And that is it.
Right, that's wonderful. And before I let you go, finally, there is a little something we have from our side here. It's a hamper for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, congratulations once again, and we wish you all the very best in your journey going forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So that was Bhavna, who joined us here on this episode of Chamomile Tea with Toppers, and we hope that her journey can inspire you, and maybe you can someday be here with us as well and narrate your story to us. We will be back with another episode of Chamomile Tea with Toppers soon. Until then, take care of yourselves and stay safe.